This unit is on ratios. Ratios are a comparison of two items or three items. It could be more. It's used to keep things in proportion, and it's usually written either with a colon or as a fraction. When possible, we want to express our quantities in the same unit. For example, minutes to minutes, or instead of minutes to hours. When we're talking about a recipe, we would want it all to be in cups instead of some in cups and some in tablespoons or quarts or something. Like I said, ratios are used to keep things in proportion. For example, in a recipe, we might say we want, let's see, 2 cups of nuts and 3 cups of raisins. Well, in order to keep our recipe the same, we need to increase these proportionally. So if we double the nuts, we double the raisins. We don't just add 1 more cup of each of them, or it's not proportional. So we could have 2 cups of nuts and 3 cups of raisins. If we doubled the recipe, that would be 4 cups of nuts and 6 cups of raisins. If we tripled it, it would be 6 cups of nuts and 9 cups of raisins, and so on. But we multiply each of these by the same amount. Well, let's say that I know I want to make 15 cups of the recipe. Can I tell on my list how much I need of each? Well, the first one, 2 and 3 make 5 cups total, 4 and 6 makes 10 cups total, and 6 and 9 makes 15 cups total. So I would use 6 cups of nuts and 9 cups of raisins. When it's a whole number and it's perfect like that, making a list works. However, what if I said I wanted 12 cups of mixture? How much of each do I need? That makes it a little more difficult because, try and spell mixture correctly. It's going to be somewhere in between here. Well, this one I multiplied both of them by 2, and this one I tripled the recipe, so I multiplied both amounts by 3. So I know it's going to be somewhere in between doubling and tripling the recipe. But I only want exactly 12. Well, that means I need to multiply both 2 and 3 times the same number, but I don't know what it is. We use x. So I'm going to multiply 2 times x, and that gives me 2x, and that's how much nuts I need. I do 3 times x. 3x tells me I need 3x cups of raisins, and together that ought to give me my total of 12 cups. Now I can solve for x to figure out what I need to multiply by, and x equals 2.4. So I need to multiply 2 times 2.4 to get the amount of nuts I need, 4.8 cups of nuts, and I need to do 3 times the 2.4, which is 7.2 cups of raisins. And that helps me to figure out when it's not going to be, a whole number that it's going to be multiplied by. We also see a lot of proportions and ratios used in scale drawings. Here we have a rectangle with a perimeter of 68 feet. And we know the ratio of length to width is 9 to 8. But that doesn't mean the sides are 9 and 8. They could be doubled, they could be tripled, it could be cut in half. But what we know is since it's a ratio, they both need to be multiplied by the same amount. So the length is going to be 9x and the width is going to be 8x. So we have 9x for our length and 8x for our width. Now we go to our formula. Perimeter equals 2 times length plus width. They told us the perimeter was 68. And the length and the width, we're going to use what we have in our drawing, 9x and 8x. And when we solve for x, we'll figure out what it is we need to multiply by. And x is 2. So we need to multiply 9 times 2 and 8 times 2. So it's 18 by 16 are the dimensions of our rectangle. On this one we have a new alloy being made. An alloy is just a mixture of metals, and we're mixing 8 parts of iron to 3 parts of zinc to 1 part of tungsten. We don't need to know what each of those means. We just need to know that that's the ratio of them. How much of each metal is needed to make 420 meters cubed? This is much like our nuts and our raisins. We need to keep our ratio like this, so we need to multiply each of them by some number. And since we don't know what that number is, we're going to multiply them all by x. If we want a total of 420, that means we add them together to get a total of 420. So we have 12x equals 420. Divide by 12, and x is 35. That means we need to multiply each of these by 35 in order to find out how much we need. 8 times 35, it's 280. 3 times 35 is 105. And 1 times 35 is 35. So we need 280 parts. We don't know what the exact unit of measurement is. It's just parts. So 280 parts of iron, 105 parts of zinc, and 35 parts of tungsten. And that will make us 420, and that will keep the ratio consistent.